So the special one wants to return to Chelsea. This is news I was reading this morning about none other than Jose Mourinho, who, yes, has obviously accomplished quite a lot, not just at Chelsea, but in all other parts of Europe. But it looks like he is possibly linked back to coming to Chelsea for his third stint. Now, there are no talks about us getting rid of Graham Potter right now, but Jose has come out and talked about that he would be more than happy to return back to Chelsea. Now, if you recall, this man has done quite a lot through his career. Obviously, starting out with Porto and what he did there, winning the Champions League after they just had qualified the season beforehand, which still to this day is quite remarkable for teams such as Porto. When you look at all the other teams that were playing in Champions League at that time and the players on all other teams, that Jose was able to take Porto to the final and win it. Then from there, moves on to the Premier League to join Chelsea and win back-to-back seasons and just smashing records. I think we only let 15 goals in the one season, which again, probably will never be broken because that is just astonishing. And yet we scored goals as well. We were a terror. Unfortunately, we never won the Champions League with Jose in either of our stints with him. But the fact is that we did dominate the Premier League with his time there. Then from there, goes on to Inter, wins a treble, which is still a very difficult thing. Not many managers can say they've done that. There's only a handful of managers that can say they've ever won a treble for when they were managing a club. From there, moves to Real Madrid. Beats Pep Guardiola with him knocking him off their high horse for quite some time. Yes, it went back and forth for a while, but really no one could do it before Jose Mourinho came into Real Madrid. From there, it started kind of tailing away. Yes, he came back to Chelsea, won the Premier League, but then things started falling out with him. Went then to Manchester United. Things didn't really work out there. Won a Europa League. Then went to Tottenham of all teams, which again, I still don't understand. Yes, I know you got paid for it, but if you were managing Chelsea, it's difficult to watch a manager then go and manage Tottenham. So I'm still indifferent about that one. But now he's been sitting at Roma. He's had some fortune there at Roma, but the big talking point has been that there is no backing for him in the transfer window at Roma, which when you look at all the other teams outside the Premier League, it is difficult because what we've seen lately is that the Premier League is getting bigger. What we've been seeing in the Premier League is that it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and almost turning into that Super League that we talked about last year that we were trying to avoid to form. But it looks like that the Premier League is getting closer and closer to that with how much money they've been spending. Now, obviously, Chelsea, I'm not going to say they haven't been spending an arm and a leg this just transfer window in January. This entire season we spent quite a bit. I think we're getting close to $1 billion, which is still remarkable to do in one full season. But the fact is that Jose is looking possibly at Chelsea because he's seeing the backing that Graham Potter is getting. And he's probably thinking, if I had that much money, he could build an elite team and win multiple things, which I think he could do it still. I really think Jose Mourinho, if he had the money that Graham Potter is getting right now with the backing of Todd Boehly and the rest of the board at Chelsea, I think that Jose Mourinho could possibly turn it around for Chelsea and actually win the Premier League and possibly the Champions League. Now, that being said, let's hold that point right there, though. The thing is, though, is we know this would not allow us to rebuild because Jose Mourinho would bring in players that are probably in their late 20s, early 30s, and we would get a good 2 seasons with them, maybe 3, and then we'd have probably a burnout like we've seen before, not once, but twice with Jose Mourinho. And then we may be back to where we have been and building these Frankenstein teams where different managers come in, add a few players, the players can't get traded, and therefore we have this massive dead weight that we're trying to get rid of, which is the only reason why I could see Jose Mourinho not coming to Chelsea anytime soon. Again, I don't think Todd Boehly is going to sack Graham Potter anytime soon, especially with this transfer window, with how much they just spent. But future-wise, too, I don't see us looking at him as manager for the club in the near future because we've brought in all these young players and we're trying to build something magical, not for next season, but the next decade. And as we've seen with Jose Mourinho, when we had younger players such as Mohamed Salah, Kevin De Bruyne, just to name 2, I know there's other players that didn't fall into that suit, where Jose Mourinho decided that no, they weren't worth it. Let's trade them, let's sell them, let's get rid of them. And now we're looking at these players and saying they could have been Chelsea greats as well had we held on to them, which we did not. But still, Jose Mourinho is a born winner when it comes to managing. Yes, he's been up and down the last couple seasons. I, for one, though, am against him coming back. I know it's one of those things, if he were to come back, I would be ecstatic, but it's like that ex that you want out of your life. You know what they're doing. You don't really care about it too much. But there's that whole thing, if they came back in, it'd be difficult to accept. But if you started winning, you may accept it. But hopefully, like I said, we can keep Jose out of Chelsea for some time because, like I said, with what we're doing, we are trying to rebuild for the next couple of seasons, next decade, with these young players, with Graham Potter, with the rest of the transfers that we're going to have coming in, not just this transfer window, but in the summer as well. So again, I believe with what we are doing right now, it may be hard to see exactly. And again, if Jose Mourinho were to come knocking the door, I could see fans saying we need him back to start winning some silverware. But still, I want to say Graham Potter is the right choice. I may eat those words later on this season, but that's where I'm at right now. No Jose Mourinho. Let's not bring him in, even though, again, it would be interesting. It would be fun. He always brings that entertainment to the Premier League, especially when he's at Chelsea. So that is all I have for you today on this video, talking about Jose Mourinho. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think he should come back and manage Chelsea? Comment down below if you think he should or what you think about this. I want to know what you guys think. So that is it, and I will see you in our next video.